Listen, I want you to hear this clearly, because this message might just change the way you look at your relationships forever. When it comes to avoidance, the people who run when things get too close, who shut down when emotions rise, who suddenly disappear just when you thought you were getting through, there's one truth you need to know. Avoidants do love. They just love differently. And the single most important sign that an avoidant truly loves you isn't in the way they talk. It's in the way they fight their own instincts for you. You see, avoidance is protection. It's survival. It's how they learn to stay safe. But when an avoidant starts to let you in, when they stop running, when they come back even after pulling away, that is love speaking louder than fear. True love for an avoidant isn't about saying, "I love you," 100 times. It's about the courage to stay when everything in their body tells them to leave. And if you've ever been with someone like this, you'll notice something. They'll share pieces of themselves they never let anyone see. They'll show up even when it feels uncomfortable. They'll apologize, maybe clumsily, but sincerely. They'll let you matter. That's not easy for them. That's not casual. That's love. So don't get fooled by the silence or the distance or the temporary retreat. Pay attention to what they fight through to come back to you, because that's where the truth lies. When an avoidant truly loves you, they don't just stay in their comfort zone. They break it for you. And that is the purest form of love they know how to give. Avoidants do love, but they express it differently. Love, for them, doesn't always look like the traditional version we've been taught to recognize. It doesn't always show up as constant affection, endless reassurance, or grand romantic gestures. For avoidants, love is subtle. It's hidden beneath layers of self-protection, because for most of their life, connection felt unsafe. They learned early on that vulnerability could hurt, that needing someone could mean disappointment, and that closeness might not last. So their instinct is to protect themselves. That protection looks like distance. It looks like shutting down when emotions rise too high. It looks like withdrawing when things feel too intense. And yet, here's the truth most people miss. Avoidants do not run because they don't care. They run because they care too much and don't know what to do with the intensity of it. When an avoidant truly loves you, something shifts inside them. Instead of disappearing completely, they find their way back. Instead of staying silent forever, they speak, even if their voice shakes. Instead of hiding their feelings, they risk showing you pieces of who they really are. This is not easy for them. Every time they lean in, every time they return, every time they try again, they are fighting a lifetime of fear. You may not always hear "I love you" in words, but you will feel it in the way they keep coming back, even after pulling away. You will notice it when they share secrets they swore they'd never tell anyone. You will see it when they apologize, not perfectly, but sincerely. You will feel it in the moments they allow you to matter, when they let you into a space that once was locked. For an avoidant, love is not about comfort. It is about courage. It is about choosing to stay when everything in their body tells them to run. It is about breaking down the walls they built so high and risking the possibility of pain just to let you in. That doesn't mean it's simple. It doesn't mean it's smooth. But every small act of openness, every return after distance, every step toward closeness is their way of saying, "You matter to me more than my fear." And that is how avoidants love. Quietly, carefully, but deeply. Their instinct is to pull away when emotions run high, when the conversation gets too heavy, when the feelings become too intense, when the closeness feels overwhelming. They retreat. It's not because they don't care. It's not because the bond means nothing to them. It's because their nervous system goes into survival mode. For an avoidant, closeness doesn't always feel safe, even if they want it. The moment emotions start to rise, their mind associates it with danger, rejection, abandonment, or disappointment. So they do the one thing they've always known to do. They pull away. They shut down. They create space, sometimes in silence, sometimes with distance, sometimes with coldness. To the person on the other side, this can feel like rejection. It can feel like the love is gone, like the connection has been cut off. But inside the avoidant, what's happening is different. They're not leaving because they don't care. They're leaving because the emotions feel bigger than what they know how to handle. Imagine someone who never learned how to swim being thrown into deep water. Their instinct is not to relax and float. Their instinct is to thrash, to get away, to find the shore. That's what happens emotionally for an avoidant. Love, intimacy, and closeness can feel like deep water. The feelings are real, but they're terrifying. So the pullback, the silence, the retreat, it's not proof of a lack of love. It's proof of their fear, and fear is powerful. Fear tells them, if you get too close, you'll lose yourself. A fear tells them, if you let someone in, they'll hurt you. A fear tells them, distance is safer than closeness. So they obey that instinct. They retreat to protect themselves. But here's the important thing to understand. When an avoidant truly loves you, even though they pull away, they also find their way back. The instinct to retreat will always be there. It's built into them the same way breathing is automatic. But love challenges that instinct. Love calls them forward, even after they've pulled back. Love whispers louder than fear, urging them to reconnect, to try again. And every time they push against that instinct, every time they choose closeness over safety, it's not small. It's a victory. It's a sign that what they feel for you is stronger than the fear that once controlled them. That instinct to pull away may never fully vanish, but love gives them the courage to face it. And little by little, they learn that staying, even when emotions run high, is possible. And staying is their truest act of love. Love shows when they resist their natural urge to escape. For someone with an avoidant pattern, the strongest impulse they feel in moments of closeness is to run. It's like an alarm bell goes off inside of them the second things feel too vulnerable. Their body says, get out, create space, protect yourself. It isn't a thought they plan. It isn't something they sit down and decide. It's automatic. It's survival. And yet, when love enters the picture, something shifts. Love creates a pull that is just as strong as the urge to escape. Instead of walking away, they pause. Instead of shutting down completely, they speak a few words. Instead of disappearing, they stay present just a little longer than they normally would. That resistance is not easy for them. Every second of staying feels like standing in fire. Every moment of openness feels like being exposed. But when they resist their natural urge to escape, what they are really saying is, you matter more than my fear. They may not shout it. They may not put it into perfect words. But in their hesitation to leave, in their decision to stay, love is revealed. It's the courage to fight an instinct that has kept them safe for years. It's the bravery to trust that maybe this time, closeness won't destroy them. You'll notice it in subtle ways. A conversation that once would have ended with silence stretches a little longer. A conflict that would have sent them out the door ends with them choosing to stay in the room. An emotional moment that should have triggered withdrawal becomes a chance for them to lean in, even if only slightly. That's not small. That's monumental. Because for an avoidant, resisting the urge to escape isn't just about you. It's about battling every belief, every memory, and every fear that taught them love wasn't safe. So when they resist, it's not casual. It's not automatic. It's love in its rawest form, love that costs them comfort, but still chooses to stay. Love that says, I'm afraid, but I won't run this time. Love that proves in action what words may struggle to express. It may not look like the fairy tale version of romance. It may not feel smooth or easy. But for them, every moment they resist escape is an act of deep devotion. And in that resistance, you are witnessing their truest form of love. Coming back after distance is a major sign of real care. For an avoidant, distance is the default. It's their safe place, their breathing space, the place where they feel in control again. When emotions get too high, when closeness feels too heavy, when vulnerability feels unbearable, they retreat. That retreat doesn't always mean they've stopped caring. It doesn't always mean the connection is over. For them, it's a reset. It's a way to calm the storm inside before facing closeness again. But here's the truth most people overlook. Anyone can pull away, but not everyone comes back. Coming back takes courage. Coming back means fighting the fear that pushed them away in the first place. Coming back means choosing the relationship over their comfort zone. And when an avoidant makes that choice, it's not small, it's monumental. Because for someone whose instinct is to run, returning is the clearest sign that they care. They don't return out of convenience. They don't return out of habit. They return because something about you matters more than the fear. And that's love in action. You'll notice it in the moments when they call after silence, when they show up after space, when they open the door they once closed. It may not be dramatic. It may not be wrapped in perfect words. But the act of coming back itself speaks louder than any explanation they could give. It's their way of saying, I may not know how to stay all the time, but for an avoidant, distance feels like protection. But love pulls them forward, even after they've hidden away. Love whispers, go back, try again. Don't let this go. And so they return even when it feels uncomfortable, even when it feels unsafe, even when every part of them wants to keep the walls high. That choice is care. That choice is love. It's the action that proves the bond matters. Because avoidance is about survival, but returning is about connection. It means they are willing to risk stepping into the very thing they fear most, closeness. And they wouldn't do that if it didn't matter. They wouldn't do that if you didn't matter. So pay attention not just to the distance, but to the return. Because the return is everything. It's the proof that love is still alive beneath the fear. It's the quiet gesture that says, I'm trying, I care, I want this. And when an avoidant comes back after distance, that is their deepest way of showing love. Vulnerability is rare for them. Sharing it means love. For most avoidants, vulnerability has never felt safe. Opening up, expressing emotions, or admitting needs once came with pain, disappointment, or rejection. So they learned to lock their feelings away, to keep their guard high, and to rely only on themselves. It wasn't about coldness, it was about survival. And because of that, vulnerability became foreign territory. It became something to avoid at all costs, because exposing what was inside felt dangerous. But when love enters, the walls begin to shift. Love invites them into a space where they dare to risk what they've always hidden. And if an avoidant chooses to share something personal, something raw, something they normally keep buried, it isn't casual. It's love. It's the rare moment where their need for safety loses to their desire for connection. That's not easy for them. In fact, it may be one of the hardest things they ever do. To sit across from someone and say, "This is how I feel." To confess fear, sadness, or longing, to reveal a wound they've spent years covering up. That is not weakness. It's extraordinary courage. You'll recognize it in small, quiet ways. The way they admit they missed you when they normally would have stayed silent. The way they share a story from their past they've never told anyone before. The way they let their guard down and allow tears to show. These are not ordinary moments. They are breakthroughs. For an avoidant, vulnerability is a gift they don't hand out lightly. And when they choose to give it to you, it means you've earned a place of deep trust in their heart. It means that in spite of every instinct telling them to stay guarded, they've chosen to let you in. That choice is love in its purest form. It's not about fancy words or grand declarations. It's about revealing what they once swore they'd never reveal. It's about saying, here is the part of me I usually hide, but I want you to see it. But that is love spelled out in action. Because vulnerability is the ultimate risk for them. It's handing over the key to the one place they swore no one would enter. It's opening the door and hoping you won't slam it shut. It's saying, I trust you with this fragile part of me. And when they take that risk, it's not small. It's everything. For someone who avoids closeness, choosing vulnerability is the loudest way they can say, I love you. They may struggle with words, but their actions speak louder. For many avoidants, language isn't where love lives. They don't always say the right thing. They may hesitate to speak openly about their feelings. They may stumble when it comes to giving reassurance. Sometimes they say nothing at all when you're craving the words the most. And that silence can feel confusing, even painful. It can make you wonder if they care, if they even notice, if love exists at all in the space between you. But look closer, because while their words may fall short, their actions are telling you a different story. An avoidant shows love in what they do, not always in what they say. They show it by showing up, even when it feels uncomfortable. They show it by keeping promises, even when commitment feels heavy. They show it by fixing something small, by remembering a detail, by making space for you in their world. Those are not casual acts. For someone who struggles to express emotions, action becomes their language. Action becomes their way of saying what their voice cannot. You'll see it when they quietly take care of something you needed without you asking. You'll feel it when they return after distance, not with perfect explanations, but with presence. You'll notice it when they sacrifice their comfort to be with you, even if they can't put that sacrifice into words. That's how they communicate, not always through grand speeches, but through consistency, through effort, through the choices they make every single day. It might look subtle, but it's powerful. Because for an avoidant, actions are safer than words. Words feel risky. Words can be twisted, rejected, or used against them. But actions are harder to deny. Actions are steady. Actions feel like a safer expression of love because they don't require standing naked in vulnerability. And yet, those actions are soaked with meaning. When they fix the small things, when they check in quietly, when they make time even when they'd rather be alone, that is love in motion. It's their way of saying, I may not say it out loud, but you matter to me. And that's not something they do lightly. They don't act out of obligation. They act out of care. So when the words aren't there, don't assume the love is gone. Watch the actions, because the truth of their heart is written in what they choose to do, even when they cannot bring themselves to say the words. And in those actions, you'll find the love they struggle to speak. Here's a powerful ending you can use to close the speech smoothly and leave your audience with impact. Yes, they may not always say the perfect words. They may not always express love in the ways you've been taught to recognize. But if you look closer, if you pay attention, you'll see that their actions are speaking the truth their voice cannot carry. And in those small, steady choices, the return after distance, the quiet care, the effort to stay when every instinct tells them to run, that's where their love lives. Because when an avoidant truly loves you, it may not sound like poetry, but it will feel like presence. It will feel like effort. It will feel like someone choosing you over and over again, even when it isn't easy for them. And that is love in its rawest, most honest form. Would you like me to merge this ending with the last expanded section, so it flows as a complete speech draft without breaks?